Hey guys, this is Tarkin coming at you with another game of Hardcore Minecraft. We don't have a super long time to play today, but I wanted to get a little bit of time in. We're probably just gonna wander around and look at stuff and pretend to be productive. I know you might be thinking, is that not indistinguishable from a normal, display? Well, technically correct. Technically correct indeed. I already had a spyglass in there. That's excellent. That's why I couldn't find it. It would have been inside of the ender chest, right where I put it. Okay, I don't really remember this. I must not have gone here because there's 0 torches at all. It is very interesting looking with the tulips and such right at the entrance. But it's just this is a flower forest side. Yeah, that makes sense. I used to think it was like this wonderful thing to get a cherry grove next to like a sunflower plains or a flower forest, but now I think they sort of like to spawn there. At the very least, we've got this very excellent valley. With all those sorts of biomes that we could want. We're gonna go get some more sand. Hey CGBing, hey Natasha. This is a good place to get sand. This river is so much more river than my river. And very, very shallow. I guess most of the rivers are not that deep. It probably just depends. This is a birch forest that we're inside of here. It doesn't realize it's a river. It's probably a river right here. Yeah. CGBang, you say you just ran out of string cheese and now you just have flat cheese. It is so inferior. They're really nothing alike, are they? Alright, we don't have a bed, so we're just gonna get some more sand. Here in the dark, underwater. We're being shot at. I'm not over worried about it. Moreover, I don't really know where they're at. We're just gonna get some more sand. Oh, I see him now. 2 arms! That skeleton was just, like, very awesome at his job. Player hurts, I would say so. I'm being attacked by another skeleton. I've never, ever been so disappointed in my life. And it's craft. Oh, you poor soul. Truly a hard knock life for you. I'm gonna do a whole new verse in a new production of Annie about your cheese-related travails. No, I don't wanna minimize your struggle. That sounds rough, buddy. Incidentally, saying that's rough, buddy, is incredibly fun for me. I don't know if you're familiar. So there's this cartoon, this animated series called Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's quite famous, I think. But at one point, a character says to another character, my first girlfriend turned into the moon, which did happen. And then the guy who gets this information just goes, "That's rough, buddy." And it's just a really excellent way to respond to things, both large and small in Gravity. Hey Sid, we're getting some sand. It is nice to see you. Well, you know, if flat cheese is that, then it's good. I mean, it is quite famous, right? Would we call it really famous? Maybe. It basically came out, you know, like I was already an adult and I was playing World of Warcraft and not really paying attention to the cultural impact of non-World of Warcraft things unless they became, you know, memes in World of Warcraft. CG Bang, I feel like you're messing with me. It's Airbender, unless you're just, you know, not being serious, but it is an animated series about wizards. They don't call them wizards, but they are wizards who have a connection with various elements, and they do wizard things. It's really good. I like basically all stuff about wizards, whether or not they call them wizards. I think wizards are very cool. Okay. So yeah, so the basic setup of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which had 3 seasons, was there's long ago the four nations lived together in harmony. Uh, uh, sorry, you know, one's always tempted to just quote the entire show all in a row, you know. Uh, but everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Sorry, it's just too easy and enjoyable to do. Um, Everything changed with the Fire Nation attacked, and there's one person, the Avatar, that control the four elements, and there's, you know, fire, earth, air, and water. You're supposed to say that before you do the rest of the bit. But yeah, no, there's only 3. There was a sequel series that involves some of the same characters, but is like decades later, like 2 decades later, maybe more, maybe more. That one's called The Legend of Korra. It's excellent also, um, but occupies a different cultural space. But yeah. So long story short, the Fire Nation turn into bad guys in the start, and there's a little kid who's the Avatar, and they run away. They're 12, you know, a little kid to me. And then and the story is about them trying to master the elements, defeat the evil Fire Nation king, and bring balance to the world. And the anime, it's just really, really good. I think, you know, there's some episodes that are kind of weak, but it's got great characterization. It's super fun. It's got a lot of fun quotes, and yeah, it's only three seasons long, and they're pretty like thematically tight seasons too. You know, like you're not having to watch a bunch of meandering. There's like a filler episode or 2 here or there, but in general, like the episodes move the action along, and uh, and it's good stuff. But it has that very enjoyable anime trope where people that are much too young to be dealing with problems deal with the problems that are incredibly serious and should be dealt with by other people who are also dealing with them. Like how in the Persona games it's always a bunch of 15 and 16-year-olds that need to save the world. When again, like no, the show does a good job of explaining why it should be these specific young people and not older and more experienced wizards. They call them benders because they bend the elements. They're just wizards. It's very awesome. I don't mean to undersell how cool the wizards are. But yeah, I guess if that counts as an anime, I've seen it. I've seen Avatar like a bunch of times because my some of my younger siblings were like mega into it. And you will be like super surprised to hear this, but actually in my family, we're all kind of obsessive, and we don't all plant huge fields of wheat, but basically all of my siblings have some, show or movie or whatever thing that they're basically constantly doing. Like for a while, me and my younger brother, we would watch Lord of the Rings. We would watch The Two Towers. Like every night, we would fall asleep on the couches watching The Two Towers. And like there's these couple of years where they were watching Friends, and we all watched like Star Trek over and over. But Avatar was one of those things once it was out. And due to my erratic nature as a much younger man, I was sometimes living at home even after I was an adult, because I did not always make good choices or any choices at all, you know. But don't think I gotta tell y'all that. Y'all already can tell all of that just from my charming glossing over of the past. Alright, what are we doing? Getting some wheat. Do we need it? We need to mend the elytra. I am stuck in a crouch. You said we need some 6-year-old saving the world. Switch it up. Indeed, indeed. Have you ever seen the Object Show Community? I don't think so. No. Fell asleep watching the Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings movie. We would do what we called the good parts version, where every time this is gonna sound terrible. We're big fans, but anyway, every time it was Frodo or Sam on the screen, we would just fast forward the chapter of the DVD, right? So it would be like the Legolas and Aragorn and Gimli show as they traverse through and then get to the big fight at Helm's Deep, and we did this like literally every day for a while. What? What is this? An enemy has done this. That must have been an Enderman. Dasha, you say no one likes little guys. I mean, I quite like them. It's just that, this was like our end of the day ritual and we wanted the action, If you're going to watch it every single day, you want, the direct, the awesomeness of it, right? But no, I do quite like Frodo and Sam. Although not as much as some of the other characters. Tolkien's good stuff. I'm not nearly as into him as like people that are proper into him. Like I don't know Elvish. I do occasionally say phrases from the books at people. Like if something really good happens. Like if somebody gets one of the bindings of the Windseeker in World of Warcraft Classic, I'm like, a star shines on you. That kind of thing. But that's just fun. There's these books that I love. I think they're called like the Emberverse books by S.M. Sterling. The first one was called Dies the Fire. I talk about them like all the time, but they the the hook of the books is they take place in like 99 or something, 1999, but all of a sudden there's a change and like a bunch of chemistry and physics don't work properly anymore. Like internal combustion engines don't work, gunpowder won't explode, explosives won't explode, like electricity doesn't work, but like bodies and like animals and plants still work, but electricity just it doesn't work anymore, and that's the premise of the books. They call it the change, and one thing leads to another. They band together and they try to find their way through the wilderness, form communities, blah blah blah. Standard awesome stuff. But one of the characters goes through a bunch of trauma, and she really liked Lord of the Rings. She's called Astrid, and Astrid gets so into it that she eventually recreates like the Ranger. She gets people and they go and live in the woods and they speak Elvish and they act like the Rangers in the books, like they wear the Star of Gondor around and they literally like she calls Lord of the Rings like the histories, and they like read them like they're like a religious like foundational folk text to them, and I just love her so much. She's also incredibly hardcore and awesome. Astrid is. She's like one of the more dangerous and feared warriors in the setting, because she's always doing fun stuff like jumping out of trees. Does nuclear fusion still work in stars, but not like in a controllable way on the planet? A lot of the characters in the books, there's been probably like more than a dozen now. I only owned like the first like 6 initially, but I've read like I guess like 10 or 12 of them. But it's an awesome book series. I think it gets pretty heavy at some parts, like a lot of fantasy stuff often does, but yeah, no, I love those books. I've read them like a bunch of times. I guess I first read them like like 17 years ago or so. I met somebody, one of my friend's friends, and he ended up like rooming at my apartment for a summer, and crashed into the living room, and we just like hung out and watched movies and that kind of thing. And it was a great time. It was a great time. He was a cool dude. We don't keep in touch or anything, but he read like a bunch of books about wizards, and he recommended a couple authors to me that I still, like consider among my favorite fantasy authors. He gave me my first coffee machine, so like I wasn't allowed to have coffee growing up because of my parents' religion, right? And but I loved coffee anyway, and I didn't particularly care for the religion. That part's not important to the story. But I didn't know how to make coffee myself, and although I could have figured it out, I just didn't. And then this came up because I was always going and buying coffee places, and then like before he left for the summer, he like bought me a coffee machine and taught me how to make it, and so that was really cool of him too. But my Stardew Valley farm, I named it Larsdalen, and that's the name of like the family farm that they are trying to get to in the first book. Anyway, the Dies the Fire is the name of the first book by S.M. Sterling. He's written like a bunch of other books too, but they're very cool, because people start riding on horses and shooting arrows at people again. And some stuff still works fine, like certain metallurgy still works. And if you have, say, a massive amount of super high quality steel in the world, then, well, every leaf spring in like a semi truck is a whole bunch of swords you could make, for example. And it's a very interesting premise, I think, and cool books. And there's all sorts of like different subcultures. Like it doesn't just follow those people and like the people who start speaking Elvish. It's got all sorts of other zany peoples that show up and do their thing. It's got like some cool Wiccans and they're very awesome. It's got a dude who does the Lord of the Rings thing, but the other way, and like literally uses the like the Eye of Sauron for his personal symbol. And yeah, it takes place on like on the West Coast, so like in Oregon and like southern Washington mainly. But a huge part of the book is about like how in the days after the normal society stuff stops working, that everything just sort of falls apart and people have to try to adjust to it very quickly, which is interesting in fiction, but of course is all too true in how it happens in the real world. There's often very little warning when things undergo a great change and the world can't be the same way anymore. But stuff like post-apocalyptic metaphors and zombies and all of that are often used to sort of explore those ideas. And plus, I have no doubt that SM Sterling, whoever they are, I've like read like 15 of their books, but I wouldn't like physically recognize them, like I've never been to a book signing or whatever. But I'm sure that they too think people riding on horses and shooting arrows is very, very cool and much better than guns, which is the whole reason why they made it. Maybe they were trying to do a deeper societal commentary, but I think they probably just thought that horses are very cool. It's like how in Warhammer 40k, it's way in the future, but I chose the guys that ride into battle on giant wolves, because of course I did. As soon as I knew they were an option, I knew nothing else would ever do. Alright, is this suitable? No, this is all wonky. We don't have any kelp in there. This is never gonna be totally fine without kelp. Do I have any in my inventory? Do not. I guess I'll have to get some. Kelp is just the coolest. I think kelp might be my favorite item in all of Minecraft. Just based on how fun making rivers and lakes and stuff is, and how integral it is to doing it quickly. Having to see the games make it so much better. Oh yes, for sure. When horses are called steeds, it reminds me of immediately, every time, that word of a game for the NES called Destiny of an Emperor. The song's super excellent, but the balance is quite loud. It's okay. It was nearly to the end anyway. It was called Destiny of an Emperor. I played it as like I would have been like 5 maybe. I loved it. It was one of the most influential games of my life. I may not have brought it up before actually, but I've definitely talked about some of the other stuff. Because Destiny of the Emperor is a JRPG set in Romance of the Three Kingdoms era China. So you've heard of like Dynasty Warriors, that era, those characters. And it was a super awesome game. But my uncle had it, and in the case for it, it had like a little bit of you know, here's how the game works, here's the instruction booklet sort of stuff. And inside of the game, you could attempt to convince enemy generals to join your team, and then you could, you know, use them in your armies and their armies underneath them and stuff. But anyway, there's a lot of words to say. The wording in the booklet thing there on the book on the case was always carry steed for enemy generals. In other words, you brainwash them, and it's just like a really funny phrasing. And that is what I think of whenever I see the word steed. Now you know. You didn't know before. There's no way you could have known before, and now you know. It may not be entirely useful to you, but that is the burden of knowledge, right? You just have to figure out if it matters to you. There's a creeper right there. That's outrageous. I was doing so good. I finally learned how to kill him with a sword at least 4% of the time. This is all getting in the way. I'm not even picking up the gunpowder. This is the worst day of my life. Or the bones perish. Perish the reality of it all. Oh well. We're just going to leave the gunpowder wherever it is. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing really matters. I'll just pick up this trash bow and all this rotten flesh. Ridiculous. Yeah, why don't I throw it on the ground? Not like I'll kill another zombie. It was a very fun game, and it actually, you know, like awoken in me at a very young age a love of Chinese history. Because while the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, like games, are, just like the name implies, heavily romanticized, and not like a perfect encapsulation of that era of Chinese history, it still made me, you know, a lot of times if you know, if there's any media that has a setting, even if they don't do like a perfect job of getting the history right, it's enough to get me interested, and then I'll just go and, you know, research it myself. I'll find out what's going on. Opinion on that number, it seems like a nice number. We gotta figure out what we're gonna call Cave Pony. Unfortunately, the most famous horse in the S.M. Sterling books, the one I love, is called Epona, uh, named for the Celtic horse god, but of course is also the name of the horse in Zelda, which is great, a great name, but it's like, you know, it's super mainstream, isn't it? I can't just name my video game horse Epona. It's not very punk rock. Oh, I did love Epona though. That's sorry. I'm like not to patronize. Like, if you don't know, that's the horse in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I don't know how often she shows up in all of the other games, but it was like basically the happiest I'd been in a video game. Uh, I really looked forward to Ocarina of Time whenever I was growing up, and it wasn't out yet, right? Because I loved the Zelda games. We had 1 and 2 on the NES, and we had Link to the Past, and I had the Link's Awakening, the Game Boy one also. I loved the Zelda games, so I really wanted to play the 3D one. And then when they let me get a horse and run around and shoot bows and arrows from the back of it, it was basically already over. Like, it was so awesome. I've always thought like horse archery was very excellent. You know, again, from bad print media about, you know, what we can call the old American West. They're like, this is how to hunt a buffalo with a bow and arrow from horseback. And I was like, yes, I believe you. I totally think this is the right way to do it. Obviously, in those books I was talking about, they also do some buffalo hunting from horseback. I mean, what are you going to do? We need to build another Guardian of the Vault. Is there any point? There can't be. Right, there can't be. Why do I even have it? Is there a mod to disable it from dropping? That should be the mod I get. Did you say anything to do with horses based off of the 100x cooler? Man, so in Stardew you can like get a horse, and I saw it like on the loading thing, and I kept on like not getting one, and once I did, it was excellent. They made a fun little clip clop 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 sound, you know. It's like, it's excellent. It was really good sound design, because the repetitive sound can be very bad or incredibly excellent. It just depends, you know. Rain or that horse sound in Stardew Valley, you know, those are good. You can feed it to dogs? Oh no. Oh right, villagers. You can trade it for emeralds to the dudes. That's right, clerics. Yeah, I'll just obliterate items from the game. It'll be like, look, I don't want acacia saplings to exist. I'm never gonna want to plant one. I mean, I might. It's just not very likely. Like, I like acacia trees, but, you know, do I need new ones? Speaking of dogs, you have reminded me. Do we have bones? We need to get some bones. There's one member of the old crew that we need to see if we can fetch. Bones, 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 bones. Bones, 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 bones. Oh, that song I'm singing, sorry. That's from a song. That's not just me saying bones. This can happen to a person. I believe the title is here. Let's fly over the mountain so that we can do it properly. So, where's the mountain goat? We have to do this properly. Look, a mountain goat! Speaking of mountain goats, what's the best mountain goat song? Well, there are many schools of thought. So there's one, I believe the title is The Ultimate Jedi Who Destroys All the Other Jedi and Eats Their Bones. I think that's the full title. It was like an unreleased track, right? It came out before one of the newer movies, and it's absolutely wonderful. And at one part he goes, you know, bones, 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 bones. He's like the ultimate Jedi who slays all the other Jedi, and he's eating up their bones, specifically just their bones. All the soft parts you can keep. You know, because what better unhinged thing to do than that? Anyway, it's awesome. And I recommend it. Anyway, I don't remember if that's the exact title of it, but I was totally going to do a different Mountain Goat song today. I was going to talk about Maystock drinking blood, and then, you know, the siren song of the Ultimate Jedi came up and got me. It's of course not like the best song anyone's ever written about Star Wars, because that belongs to, you know, Weird Al Yankovic with The Saga Begins. An incredibly excellent dog! Did I forget to grab bones? I got so pumped about singing the song that I forgot to get bones. Do I have bones here? I have bones here. Come here, dog. I wish to make you my friend. Hey guys, it's Hank again. Alright, time to bring Hank home. Hank's a good old cow dog, and he's gonna run and jump and play, and mainly just sit in front of the cow pen. And he will also investigate any malfeasance, disappearing chickens, anything like that. He's a good old dog. I don't love the red collar on him, though. You know, I think this blue, I think this will be nice. Oh yeah, look at that handsome collar. Who's a good dog? The red was too aggressive, you know. It made him look mad. It made him look like he was about to attack somebody, but he's not. He's just gonna defend the sheep. He's a good old dog. This horse is best horse. Look how dark the horse is. Oh no, it's gonna run. Oh no, it has bucked me off. Anyway, this is a very good horse, even if they don't love me. It's a good horse. We'll get back to that later. Come on, Hank. The best cow dog indeed. And, you know, faithful zipping along beside me. Not at all too complicated to take him from point A to B. You know, some members of the crime family are significantly harder to wrangle around than others. We probably could have, you know, gotten in a boat. But running across is fine too. It's sort of wild how much I forget the actual scale of this place. Cause now, like, you know, I always fly if I'm going anywhere. When's the last time I just ran for 1,000 blocks, you know? Yeah. Yeah, some members of the family have much more of a mind of their own. Although they are just as good and loyal as a good old dog. Of course, Hank by preference doesn't live in the house with the rest of us. He prefers to, you know, be out on the front lines, detecting. I have not read the Hank the Cowdog books since I was a kid. I bet they're still super fun. I sort of love the idea of them being written like for adults, but with the exact same premise. Just like, this is a dog that can talk and has thoughts and is very self-important and is trying to investigate minor crimes but isn't good at it. Like, I absolutely would watch Air Bud 17. I'm a detective. No, I think there's already like Air Bud in space. And Air Bud Marvel superhero movies and stuff. That sounds like a joke. I don't think it's fake though. I think that's all real. Good news, Hank. Yes, indeed. Where's the entrance theoretically? Did I not even make one? That was smart. Keeps me from accidentally opening it. We will give him a delicious pork chop. You can observe the wheat and the cows. Good old Hank is finally home. Alright, speaking of finally home, let's go ahead and get his name set up. Oh, that's right, my anvil here broke. Do I even have enough iron for other anvils? I swear I have asked these questions out loud here before. Oh right, white concrete. That's like a whole thing I can build out of. There's different colors of concrete. I should get on that. I don't remember how to make an anvil. That's how. I need more iron. guess I don't just like have any laying around. I've got to have more somewhere. Like unsmelted right there. So that's good. It's always good to have some nice unsmelted iron. That's pretty nice. Here we go. Ah, joyous day. You know, although it was probably mostly talking, Hank the Cowdog has returned to us. You can barely read his name, but it's there. This golem is getting in the way of glorious name day of Hank the Cowdog. Come on, Hank. Let's get a little out of the way there. Yes. Witness him. Ah, good old Hank. Want a pork chop, Hank? Yes, you do. Who's a good boy? It's you. You know, that's what was missing. We got Atropa back. We got Hank back. Everything's good. Natasha, you're just having fun with me now. That's funny though. I was like, what are these symbols? I will decipher them. And then I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. I see. Exactly, Sid. First name Hank, middle name V, last name Cowdog. If he was a rapper, we would have to spell his middle name with 2 E's, but, you know, he's just a humble cowdog. But if the Mooshes ever get him signed to their label, we'll have to change his name with an extra E. That would be fun. Other people make, like, these amazing Minecraft themed songs, and I make, like, in-universe hip-hop music from the point of view of Hank the Cowdog trying to impress the Mooshes. Just, like, real obscure stuff. Just, like, really, really impenetrably strange. I could do the barking. I don't want to brag, but, like, I used to listen to a lot of DMX. I know a lot of it doesn't age well, but he was, like, the biggest rapper in the world for one point whenever I was younger. And so, you know, like, I have some experience just barking, you know, so I feel like I can nail these Hank the Cowdog parts. If that's where we want to go with our career, I haven't decided. You know, now that the whole crew's together, we can do anything. Of course, there's basically nothing more iconic for a crime family than the music industry. Hey, boss. Ah, Garuda. Under his watchful eye. It's just a great painting. Does it keep on turning that down? Oh, well, that's not what's... Alright, so that doesn't matter. I was like, is that why I can't see them? That's not why. It's a different word that means I can't see Hank at this distance, but he's there. He's just over there. It's very upsetting that I can't see him at his vigil. We might need to park him over there so that when we're laying to bed at night, we can go see him. You know, let's go do that now. After all, like, even though he prefers to be far away, accomplishing things, there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to wish him a good night, the same as everybody else. Come, Hank. Sit down on this side. That's a good dog. I threw a rocket inside to let them know that I was home. Alright, now can I see him? What? Alright, there must be different rules. There must be different rules for the dog. Maybe to protect him from harm? I don't know. I do know that I can't see him, though. Rendered Satoshi? Yeah, but the cows are in. And he's on this side of the cows now. He's like where the... Because I moved him up there. If I have to move this whole cow field, like, right over here, that's a price that I'm willing to pay. You know, why shouldn't I do it? Anyway, we're not going to sort this out right now, because it's 12:52, and I'm probably pushing my politeness in my living situation. But we're not going to leave Hank out of sight forever. You know, we're gonna have him part of the party, because you know we can see the turtles. You know, that's probably Michelangelo there thinking about parties. You know, that's my man Raphael over there probably, just like hanging out, doing his thing. That skeleton better act right, that's all I gotta say. Bro, you say sorry for ghosting me, cause yeah, finals next week in middle school. You're not ghosting me if you have stuff to do in your life, man. Ghosting a person is like when you had been directly speaking to them and then you just like never respond ever again, right? Ghosting is what I do to people if they text me. But yes, good luck with your finals. Not to be mean, but if you try to make me talk to you with a phone, it won't ever work. It can't work. It won't work. And it's your fault. Today at work, this new person, they were like, "Hey, I tried to get a hold of you, like I tried to give you a call to see blah 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 blah," and everybody just started laughing at them, like actually laughing, not like heavily, but you know, like, "Oh, did you not realize this dude literally will never look at his phone?" Anyway, my phone was dead. I charged it today though, so if you call me tomorrow, I'm ignoring it on purpose. Anyway, I invite you all to stand for the national anthem and the theme song of the Crime Family by C418. It's Cat. Sit, stand, or kneel for the national anthem, as you prefer. This is the original song of the family. It used to, of course, be the only disc I had. But now that we've got, you know, Pigstep and Creator and Other Side, which are all very awesome, it's still nice to play this one every now and again. It's got a really pleasant, like, bass sound. I don't know if the one on the disc is identical to, like, the one that you, like, find on the internet if you listen to it. It's sort of like... Anyway, it's a very pleasant song. I like it. No, I guess, yeah, it's all there. I'm just normally talking. I'm like, there's like these little like tones in the background where they're playing around with the keys. But yeah, no, it's still here in this version. In this version. The one on the disc in the game that I've listened to 1,000 times. Sid. Yeah, you know, I like the national anthem by Radiohead a lot. That one's good. I like the national anthem by Lana Del Rey. That one's good. Good old Garuda. Josh, you say the crime family will still conquer the world by the music industry. Oh, I hope so. I hope so. is my favorite part of Cat, where it loops back around. It's just a really good song. Most popular opinion that I have, I think the Minecraft music is good. I share it all the time. No, if I ever made like musical comedy stuff, even just like about video games, I would be so happy with it. I've always loved musical comedy things. You know, Weird Al, Tenacious D, Flight of the Conchords. As I've probably related a few times before, basically the only Minecraft content I had seen before playing it myself was a couple of speedrunning things, and then also like some internal music videos of songs people made about Minecraft or like with Minecraft animations or whatever. So I believe they're very famous. The Coldplay one, where I used to rule the world, the Viva La Vida thing, but of course it's all like different lyrics. And then Diggy Diggy Hole, which is both an absolutely marvelous title, and there's like a metal band that covered it, and the metal band also does like Warhammer songs. So they have one called Gates of Ekrund, which is like the story of like the heroic last stand of the dwarves of Ekrund against like the orcs that were like assaulting them. It's very awesome, very heavy metal stuff, and in their music videos they're like dressed up like dwarves, and they've got like they're like fight, but like with a sword with the double heads on it and stuff, and they're really getting into it. They're like in armor on the walls. It's very heavy metal. It's very cool. Hi Minikman. Sorry, you're coming in right at the very end, but said you say the parody songs are very fun. You'll still listen to them. Yeah, there were the Coldplay one. I forget the name of it. Fallen Kingdom, something like that. I actually I cried the first time I saw it, and I've watched it a few times since then, and cried again. Like, it's a really great, like, emotional way that the story is told. I mean, I'll cry at like anything, right? It's not like special. It's not like I can't believe I cried at a well-made song like that. That'll happen all the time. Sometimes people that don't know me super well will just like be around. They're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I was thinking about Les Mis." They're like, what? I'm like, oh, like, there's a musical called Les Miserables, and like, so, and then I explain that I'm like thinking about a song, and they're like, yeah, but you're crying in public though, and I'm like, oh, right, my bad. I'll hurry it up. You know, that kind of thing. Just totally normal behavior. But anyway, yeah, the Fallen Kingdom one, that one was excellent. And now, after playing some, like, I totally feel the dude's pain of, like, letting a creeper blow a hole in the wall and having everything, just fall apart, because, like, look, if you build a wall to protect your village, you think, we're good, now that's sorted. But all it takes is a couple of whooping Endermen to whoop, whoop, whoop around, and then all of a sudden, there's dirt showing up in the middle of your house. And there's no way to protect yourself from the onslaught of those teleporting guys. It's very sad. I don't like Enderman. I like to hit him with a stick attached to a sword. That's the best way. This is a much better version of the house than the previous one. It's like, the dirt, we could do something about the dirt. We could do that now. I mean, not like everything about it, but something about it. Yeah, because I can just put, you know, dirt underneath the moat. Is it going to obliterate? Oh, no! Oh, this is the worst day of my life. It'll be okay. My beautiful carpet! No! Alright, this was... It's fine. It's cool. You know, that's what you get. You know, you can fly too close to the sun, and I just did. I was like, yeah, we'll replace the dirt underneath the moat with some nice wood. I could have just surrounded it with more wood, hidden the dirt. Look at Atropa. She does not approve. She probably just got wet a little bit, so she probably also does not approve. That was definitely not where it was. We're doing a terrible job at reconstruction. You know, we're just gonna put this here and then probably tomorrow accidentally drop down something on it. You know, it's fine. This is okay. This is still nice. You know, yeah, it's fine. Then that rug's fine. I'm not, you know, it's not amazing. It's cool. Yeah, Atropa is like, look, I was gone for 500 days. You bring me back, and now, in my own house, you dunk me with water. I love the idea of this pairing right here too, because Bella would have been sitting on the stairs, the water comes down, drenches Atropa, messes up all the carpets, and then Bella's just sitting there looking down at her, being like, because you know, if you've ever seen a cat, you know how sometimes they can look at you like with such smugness, you know, like such an air of contemptuous superiority. And that's what I imagine Bella must have felt whenever I dropped the moat on poor Atropa's head. Anyway, we were supposed to end the video with the national anthem, but you know, I went on too long. It's okay. Anyway, I do actually have to go now. I'm having so much fun just talking to myself. It's just a your disappointment stare. Yeah, you know, she is still looking at me. Yeah, she doesn't look very impressed, you know. At least Garuda can be bribed. Garuda will love me. I'll just give him some seeds. Say these face daily cats are great. Yes, they are very excellent. My brother is allergic, but I am fond of the creatures. I think they're good stuff. But yeah, this is a wonderful video. It started off as saying probably just talking, but now we got Hank back. I've got a new and modern carpet. That's a positive way to talk about it. and you can barely tell that most of the house is made out of dirt. You know, it's less and less dirt all the time. Before long, it'll look like a house until you go outside and see a bunch of dirt. But yeah, you know, and with that, you know, that's good, because otherwise, when it's just one thing above there, the water droplets sort of come through, which is distressing. You know, it makes it seem like a bunch of water is gonna, say, fall down on one of your pets' heads. You wouldn't want that. You wouldn't. You wouldn't want that. But what I want to do is keep on talking excitedly, but I really do have to shut up and cut this now. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Really hope you've enjoyed. I'll be off work tomorrow, so I should be up and streaming various stuff all day long, or around all day long. Bye, Natasha. Bye, Sid. Bye, Minikman. So good to see y'all. Thanks for hanging out, and perhaps I'll see you in a future stream or video.